let's try this again. We're gonna start over. So that was a whole mess there. My cat almost knocked over my table, hence knocking over my iPad and all of that. So we're just gonna start fresh. So I'm gonna start by saying the lighting is not that great. It's almost 5, snowing a little bit, but extremely cloudy. There's no sunlight, so I'm just working with one lamp here and one lamp over there. So I apologize ahead of time for the bad lighting. But today I thought I would do a video, first impressions video on the brand new released iconic RFID Deluxe Zip ID case. And I promise I'll get you in close and show you all the details of this new wallet. This is obviously going to be a first impressions video because I just got this today. I just loaded my stuff in this a few hours ago. I usually like to use things for a little while, at least a couple of weeks, at the very least a week, before I come on here and say I love it or hate it. I want to give it a good chance first. So this is just going to be first impressions. I'm going to give you my first impressions, my first opinions, things like that, just for people who might be interested in either the pattern or the new ID case. And I'm also going to compare it to 2 of the classic iterations of the Vera Bradley ID case. But first, before I get started, I wanted to rave about my bag of the week, pretty much. I've been using it for almost a week now. And this is the cargo sling. It's the original style cargo sling in the pattern Mod Floral Blue. My mom gave this bag to me years ago, and she's actually given me my entire cargo sling collection. I have one in Mod Floral Pink, which I believe the 2 came together. I also have Fanfare and I have Heather, which if you do want to see those other 2, they're actually videos on my channel that you could check out. But I forgot how much I absolutely love this bag style. I haven't changed out of it all week. I've had such a great time using it. There's lots of room, as you can see. And I have less than half of the bag filled up. Like, I could definitely, I can even fit my big iPad in here if I wanted to, and, more. But I just have my necessities in there. And I do have a couple new things that I'll show you really quick here. This is the Mini Cosmetic, I think is the name, and the pattern is Dream Tapestry. This was a $10 find on eBay. $10, free shipping, got here in 2 days. And I basically wanted to get this so instead of putting all my stuff in the interior zipper pockets of bags, I can just have it all in here. That way when I do switch out bags, I can just grab this and throw it in the next bag. So that was kind of my purpose of purchasing that, which I've been loving that too. And my other new thing is the Petite Pouch. This is a vintage style in the pattern English Meadow. And the cool thing about this is that you've got the exterior pattern in the center, the interior pattern is flanking on the sides, and this pouch opens up nice and wide. So you can see it opens all the way flat so you can see what you have inside. And inside, for me, I just have my charger and my flash drive. And I got a really good deal on this too, so I never pay, I never pay retail for Vera. I always try to use coupons, or I get it secondhand or on sale, or it's given to me as a gift from like a family member. Vera doesn't give me anything for free. My videos are never sponsored. I do this because I love it. So I've either purchased it myself or someone, i.e. a family member or friend, has given me Vera. So I just wanted to get on here real quick and just talk about how amazing the cargo sling is for those of you who might be interested in a bigger bag. It is a crossbody, but I don't really use it as a crossbody ever because it is big. And if I was in a pinch, I would use it as a crossbody, but I'm mostly interested in it as a shoulder bag, which it makes a really good, slouchy, comfortable shoulder bag, as you can see. And again, I apologize, the lighting is not that fantastic. It's pretty dull in here right now, and it's just gonna keep getting darker and darker as I talk, so I better hurry up and move on to the main attraction of the video, which is, and I'm going to scoot in for this, so I apologize if my head gets cut off, but I want to talk about the iconic RFID Deluxe Zip ID case. So it's quite the name, very, very big name. But there is the tag. It retails for $25. I didn't pay that. I did get a little bit of a discount because I had a coupon. I was worried about, you know, I thought, you know, if this coupon is not going to work because I didn't get it at the Vera store, I got it at a retailer. I'm like, if this coupon doesn't work here, I'm going to try not to get it, not pay the full $25 for it, because, I mean, the good thing about ID cases, they're one of the cheapest, or maybe not cheap, that's not the right word. ID cases are like some of the most affordable items that Vera Bradley makes and sells. So I typically, and they're also my all-time favorite Vera product. So that's what I typically go for, especially when there are new pattern or product releases. I go for some sort of zip ID iteration. And so that's what I did here. But luckily I did have a coupon to cover some of those costs. So that was nice. But I dug through, and I mean, I went into an Occasionally Yours retailer near me, and they have more ID cases than I think the Vera Bradley signature stores have themselves. They just have this big, tall rack that spins, and the whole thing is just covered in ID cases. And they even have some of the older patterns, like, that retired a while ago, like, let's see, Kaleidoscope. Like, for example, Kaleidoscope, which I think it just recently retired, but they're still selling that full price. So they do have some of the patterns that have retired or recently retired on that ID case rack there. And so I had to dig for this one a little bit because there's so many ID cases on that rack. But this pattern is called Seahorse of Course. Cute name. Very cute design, so I'm going to try to get you in nice and close so you can see those details. And if you're interested in the design and how Vera did this, I recommend going onto their website. Scroll to the bottom of their website and click on blog, because I think they do a blog post on almost every single pattern they release, so you can get an idea of like who created it, where the inspiration came from, etc. And I just randomly was on Instagram and saw that they posted an Instagram story about the designer and how she came up with the pattern, which I thought that was pretty cool. But at the time, I was not interested in this pattern. When they first showed previews for it like a week and a half ago, I was just like, not into it. But like how it usually goes is when I actually go into the store and see it in person, my mind changes instantly. And that's kind of what happened here. When I saw it, I was like, okay, that is pretty cute. So I did end up getting Seahorse of Course. And this was the best pattern placement that they had. I mean, so the pattern is basically, these seahorses are just copied like all over. It's a repetitive pattern. And then of course you do get the anchors and the stars and the swirls and stuff like that. But of course, Seahorse of Course. The seahorses are the main attraction, in my opinion, with this pattern. So I wanted to get the best pattern placement as possible. And although they're just a little bit off, they're a little bit crooked and obviously a little bit set lower on the ID case, this was still the best deluxe ID case that they had. So I just went with it because I wasn't going to wait online. And I do have a signature store that I could drive to, but it's not far, but I just didn't have the time to go do that today. So maybe if I have a chance to go visit, I'll take a look at what they've got pattern placement wise, and maybe I'll change my mind. But I'm fine with this. I'm not a huge stickler on pattern placement. It just depends on what the pattern is and what the item is even. So I'm okay with this. I can live with this. So I just wanted to show you all the features of this, and then I'll compare it to the other two standard ID cases that Vera makes. So I'm going to try to tilt this up just a little tiny bit, and hopefully that helps a little. Okay, so like all Vera Bradley ID cases, you do get this metal ring with Vera Bradley, and you do have the ribbon pull tie with the no Vera Bradley signature. And then this is the back where you get the beautiful pattern placement. And I will go ahead and point out already, if you haven't noticed, they have the macro square quilting on the ID cases now, which means they're just the big squares. They've never had the big squares on their ID cases before. So that is a nice change. I particularly like it better than the traditional square quilting. I shouldn't call it traditional because their traditional is actually the diamond quilting. This is my work backpack that I use every day for work. So that's traditional quilting. This one is like the regular square quilting, and I'll try to get you in as close as I can so you can see the perfect squares. And then this is the macro, so you can see how big. I mean, it's kind of hard to see with this pattern, to be honest, because the squares are so big. I mean, I can't even see it, honestly. But like, here's one. It goes boop, 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 like that. So I personally like that because I think it's not as obstructive to the pattern. You know, there's not as much stitching going through the pattern because the squares are so big. So I like that. Love that change. So we do have the soft zipper on the top. And when you open that up, the only difference is, so with, I know I keep pulling this in, but it's easy to compare when you have it right here. So for those of you who know the regular zip ID, you do have a slip right here where you can put like an ID or a picture or something. So it's separated from the rest of your cards. This has the same thing, except since they changed the ID figuration out here, they actually moved that divider fabric more into the center. If you can see that right there, I'm pulling on it and you can see the VB stitching on there. So now you can separate your cards a little bit nicer, which I really like that. So I actually just put all of my cards, like for example, my health insurance cards are back there. My business cards are back there. My work parking lot key card is back there. And then some like, you know, rewards cards and stuff are on that side of the divider. And then on this side of the divider, I have my most used cards, like my debit cards and stuff like that. So I like that a lot, that they kind of put that more in the center so you can divide your cards if you want to. All right, so now we're going to go to what I consider to be the front of the new Deluxe Zip ID, and this is the front part of the ID window, which opens with a snap closure, and you can see that that's on a little flap, a flexible flap, and you can open it up and you see that you have another ID window. But the fun part about this is you can't access the ID from out here, so that's nice. You don't have to worry about it falling out or slipping out or anything like that. You access it from the inside right here. So there you go. It's one ID window. Isn't that nifty? So you could put more than one ID in there facing the opposite direction. So for example, if I want my pictures to be safe on the inside, but this is my my key card for my parking area, I want that to be on the outside, so when I roll down my window, especially when it's cold and I need to scan my card, all I have to do is like stick my hand out the window and scan and get right in. And sometimes I park a little bit too far away from the scanner and I can't reach it, especially because I'm short and my arms are small. And so sometimes in general, even if I park close enough, I still have a hard time reaching the scanner from inside of my car. The cool thing about this is you can just unsnap it and take the long end of it and reach over and scan. So that, when I first saw the preview for this product, that right there made me the most excited, because you all know how much I love my ID cases. But now that I, you know, even at work, I have to scan to get into our parking area. So when I park too far away from that scanner, and like I said, even if I do park close enough, sometimes I'm too short to reach it. I have to unbuckle my seatbelt, and sometimes I even have to open my door and like lean out to scan it. I've had to do that before. So this is like an extender for me, because if I can't reach it like this, I can just unbutton it and then just extend this part out and let this do the scanning for me. Love that. So that is really great. And I also love that I can see my picture or my ID on the other side, so my ID doesn't have to be facing out to the world. My parking pass could go right there. My ID and or pictures can be safe inside here. I love that. that's what got me really excited about this wallet, is that I have that functionality. And I'm going to show you something else that got me really excited earlier when I was playing around with this. But first I'm going to show you real quick. You do have 2 RFID protected card slots here. One here, and then there's 2. Now, the only problem I have with these RFID card slots is that when you want to snap this closed and you put a card in this second one back here, you're going to put some pressure on the tip of that card when you try to snap that closed. I did try it with my card in there. I don't think I would break it. I mean, you'd really have to press super hard on it to break it, especially because, you know, when you snap it closed, it's only the end of the card that's getting pressure put on it. But it still bothered me a little bit, so I ended up just putting my extra photos back there. So I do have like family photos of like my family, my siblings. So I just put those back there, so that's perfect. Now I don't have to put my photos in here with the rest of my cards. I can have them safe and protected in one of these card slots. And then in this one, I didn't have anything in there right now. I did put my debit card in there earlier, but I just took it out and put it in the zipper compartment. But I can put all kinds of things in that one. I just haven't decided what I want to put in that slip pocket yet. But I like that. And so far, as I've been playing around with it and snapping it open and closed, it's pretty easy. The snap is pretty easy to maneuver. And I think the snap button closure that they went with here is probably the best option out of all the other closure options, such as the hidden magnet, the magnetic snap, because this is just more secure. This hard snap is way more secure. So the thing that I got really excited about earlier is that, so this is considered the front, but this fabric is very flexible right here. And it is actually stitched right in the center, as you can see. So if you wanted to flip this over, and you could flip the snap over, and voila, you can have the inside part of your ID facing outwards. So I thought that was really cool. And then your card slots, obviously, your 2 RFID card slots are going to be facing outward to the world. So be aware of that. But I thought that was pretty darn cool. So if I want this side to be facing out, say if I'm going somewhere and I have my ID, like my license in this one, and I need to, like, you know, show someone my license, and I have this side out, and I'm like, okay, I need to have my license side facing out. All I have to do is snap it, flip it, turn the snap over, and boom, that side is facing out now. I love that. This is the type of Vera Bradley ingenuity that I've missed. And I feel like over the years, Vera Bradley's always coming out with really cool stuff. But I feel like back in the day, especially back in like the cargo sling days, you know, the vintage days, there was always these little cool, nifty products that came out. And I feel like in recent years, there haven't been as many like crafty innovations, because I assume it costs a lot of money to be, you know, pretty crafty and unique with certain products. Sometimes they have to cut costs so they can survive, and I completely understand, you know, having to do that. But stuff like this, like, that really makes me happy. I don't know why. I don't know if they intended for it to be dual, like you could flip it on either side. I don't know if that was their intention. But as I was playing around with this earlier, that's when I started really obsessing over this, because when I got it, I'm like, I like it. It's pretty cool, you know. But as I've been playing with it, I think I love this thing. Like, I really, really like this. So anyway, I just wanted to show that to you, just so you can see how it works and how it functions, and even give you a little bit up close of the pattern. So since the lighting is not like perfect right now, I just want to let you know, let me get it under the light so even I can see it. Just want to let you know the details of the pattern. So the blue is like a royal blue, and then it is a black background behind it. And then the seahorses are like an eggshell, like an off-white. So they're not like extremely I don't have anything that really has white in it. There is some white in my cargo sling there, and it pretty much looks similar. It's really hard to see. The seahorses aren't yellow, but they aren't like a bright white either. So for what that's worth, I hope that helps. So I did show you the regular iconic ID case. So this, you know, has the metal ring, it has the ribbon pull tie, it's got the regular square stitching, got the zipper closure, and the divider so you could put your ID or picture in the front and then your cards in the back. So there's that. And I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but I've been told by 2 people, one of them being an employee at a retailer that sells Vera, so not an actual Vera Bradley store, but a retailer that sells Vera, that the Deluxe Zip ID is replacing the Gen Zip ID. I know, really sad day, because I love the Gen Zip ID a lot too. But, and you know, I think these two could coexist just fine. I would still buy the both of them, I think. And I'm bummed that they're, you know, moving away from this design, and at the same time I'm really happy that they're willing to try new things, put new things out there that could be just as functional or even more functional. But I do want to show this just as comparison. So yes, we do have the metal ring, ribbon pull tie, same as the others. And I'm going to show you the front side first. So the front side is just like a normal Zip ID case, unzips, soft zipper. You got the divider for your ID or pictures in the front. Your cards go in the back. But as you can see, they basically just sewed an extra pocket on the back of the ID case. And it is lined with this piping, which the other ID cases do not have this piping on it. It's just the Gen Zip. And there's this little snap closure pocket on the back where you can put all of your extra cards, your cash. I always threw my chapstick back here, your coins, whatever you want, you put back here. And the more I look at this, I'm just like, oh, I love this so much, and I wish they would just continue to make this and make this, because I love them both, and I think they both function well on their own. But it is what it is. So anyway, this is in the pattern Kaleidoscope. Again, it's called the Gen, J-E-N, Zip ID. And then this one is just the regular Zip ID, and this pattern is Lilac Medallion. And so, let me see if I can, oh, I just realized the rings are on different sides. Interesting. So there they all are together. I'll go ahead and flip them around. And in terms of thickness, now I do carry a lot of cards. I probably carry more cards than normal. So, I mean, if I took out my business cards and my work key card is like literally this thick, like it's way too thick. So obviously I just took that out, and look how compact it became by just taking that out. You can see, even though the Gen Zip ID is completely empty, this is still just a tiny bit like more compact, even though this is full. So imagine if you had even less cards than I do. It's still a little bit thinner than the Gen Zip. Especially it's bulky too, because it's got that flap and it expands a lot. So just keep that in mind. If you don't like bulky wallets, or, you know, they're kind of just pieced together, that's something that you'll have to deal with if you have the Gen Zip ID. And if you don't like, you know, the snap or whatever, what have you, that's what you'll have to deal with the RFID Deluxe Zip ID case. So I like that there are options for everyone, which is why Vera Bradley is so great. So if you like any of these three, you know, you got options. If you don't like any of them, there are other wallets out there. But the great thing is they're not retiring. The good old-fashioned cotton Zip ID, you can still get these. I think these new ones that are coming out today do have the macro stitching now. So they won't have, it's so hard to see on this because the squares are so big and the product is so small. But I hope you can sort of see the difference there. So, and they actually came out with even more Zip IDs. today. So they had the regular configuration, but in the new reactive material, which is this new recyclable lightweight material made from plastic bottles. And then there was another one, which I think was like just the lighten up fabrication. I saw both of those in the newer patterns as well. So yeah, you got your options there, but I'm a big ID case fan, so when a new pattern comes out, this is usually what I get after, because it's affordable, especially if you have a coupon to pile on top of that $25 price tag, which I did, and that was nice. And it's just fun. You know, I love wallets, and these are, as many times as I go and try like a new wristlet or a new full-size wallet, I always find my way back to the Zip ID. So it's my these are my all-time favorite Vera Bradley products. So first impressions on this, I really like this. I'm almost ready and willing to say that I love it. But of course, I do want to give it a little bit more time, use it a little bit more, because I did just get it today. And maybe if I do a bag video in a week or two, I can hop on here and give you more details on using the wallet. But first impressions, I really like it, and I think it's going to work really well for me. And I'm excited to take it out into the world and bring you some opinions back on it the next time I'm on YouTube. So this has been the review on the iconic RFID Deluxe Zip ID case. I feel like I have to look at this so many times because it's such a long name. And the pattern is Seahorse of Course, just released today, February 6th. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching.